too much importance to people.
What is the explanation of your findings?
Well, we found that.
What are you doing?
It's free chi-square, bro. I'm on protest. Why do you think offensive, defensive players' moralities have... Krofka here with Sam Simrel. Why do you think offensive, defensive players' mortalities are coefficiently...
We could be like, oh, Baymax, what were some problems with our thing? And then he just looks. And then, yeah, can you make an argument one time?
Watch, I'm gonna interview him.
No, and somebody being behind you like,
Alright. And guest star host, Baymax. Baymax, how do you feel about the NFL? Baymax, what do you think about the deaths in the NFL? Good boy, and that's it.
What's up? I'm Sam.
Herman.
I'm in the dark going crazy. I'm in the dark doing 20 past 8. I'm in the dark, it's a movie Scorsese. I'm in the dark, it's a night. Dark.
Just go.
Hi, I'm Zach.
I'm Sam.
Hey, I'm Tariq.
And I'm Jonah, and this is our stats project. Okay, so for our stats project, we wanted to investigate NFL info, and so we did 4 tests, and here are 2 tests that we are going to show you. Starting with our first test off with Zach.
Yay!
Zach here. I did a chi-squared independence test on the life expectancy between offensive and defensive football players, and we wanted to see if there was a difference between them. Sam, get the testing here, man.
Now, before we go and get Zach Velasco on the whiteboard, I'm gonna talk a little bit about football. The most popular sport in America, as many of you know, but with that, it is one of the most dangerous as well. Players suffer from early fatality rates, and that is why we chose to do this study about football players.
This is my chi-squared independence test. Our H0 being there's no difference in the number of people in each range of life expectancy between offensive and defensive football players, that being independent. Our alternative hypothesis is that there is a difference between the number of people in each range of life expectancy between offensive and defensive football players. Our claim being H0. All right, so on the screen should be a table popping up on our data. That's how we got our degrees of freedom of 3. We took away 1 row and 1 column, multiplied them by each other, leaving us with the degrees of freedom of 3. We did an inverse chi-square test with the alpha value of 0.05 and degrees of freedom being 3, ending up at 5.991.
Let's just do it with all these people.
Alright, so we had a test statistic of 3.31613 and a confidence interval of 5.99146. Our margin of error was 5% as well. We got a p-value of 0.3434, meaning that there is not lots of correlation between them, ending in a fail to reject.
Our original test was a chi-square test for independence, which is all nominal data, thus not showing any actual mathematical significance. On the other hand, what we should have used is...
Shut up, bro!
Let's Wolfer!
Shut up!
I'm finna thank you, bro. Come on, bro.
Miles keeps giggling. Alright. On the other hand, what we should have used is a 2-proportion Z test, which would have actually shown a significance in the math.
Why do you think offensive and defensive players' deaths aren't correlated?
Well, logically, that while offensive players are getting hit by the defensive players are also doing the hitting, thus equal head trauma.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, hello. Now we're going to do our second test. So for our second test, if there's a difference in how players are paid, NFL players are paid.
Before we conducted our test, we had an idea that the players would be paid differently. We didn't know how much or how less. We expected that veterans would be paid more than like rookies per se because they mentor the players and they have more experience. Obviously, this is the math class, and we want to test our data to see if our hypothesis was correct.
We went on to the NFL spending chart, and we found that there's this graph about veteran players, rookies, homegrown, and outside, and we wanted to know if there was a statistical difference between how they are paid.
A rookie is obviously a person who was first year playing in the NFL. And then we looked at homegrown players. A homegrown player is someone who has been on the team for a while, but they're not quite a veteran, and they just kind of worked their way up throughout the team. And then an outside player is someone who was traded from another team and is now on this team. And then finally a veteran is someone who's been in the league for a while, and they are soon to retire.
And so our null hypothesis is that there is no significant statistical difference between the averages in the four groups. And obviously the opposite of that, in our alternative hypothesis, which is our claim, which is that there is a statistical difference between the averages in the four groups. So we ran a ANOVA test on this because that's what you do for more than 3 groups of data. And our summary was that there is a statistical difference or significance in the difference between the data. We rejected our null hypothesis, and so that just to put this into context and give a little more real-world examples, is the veteran average pay was $5,857,131 and no cents. The rookie average pay was around $1 million. The homegrown was around 2, almost 3 million, and the outside average pay was around 3 million. $3 million, that's a whole lot of money. And just a few things that I want to clarify. If I had more time, I probably would have tested the differences between each group that I had, but because I wanted to be quick and I wanted to be precise, I used an ANOVA test. By the way, my p-value was also 0 if you did not pick up on that in the overlay of the ANOVA test, and this further gives us reason to reject H null. Well, now we're gonna give it up for Miles and Sam and Tariq to tell us more about the limitations that we had in this project.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Miles Lacrofsky, your host of this project because Jonah Herman and Zach Velasco are up to no good. Today we have Tariq Rashid and Sam Simrel. They are doing their Portland State University Data and Stats project. Today I'm going to be asking them questions. Guys, why'd you pick football?
For the first test, we chose football because, we like the sport, we play it and we watch it, and we want to see if there are any consequences to playing the sport.
Yep.
And for the second test, we talked about pay wage, the imbalance between the different ages of.
Saddle up, baby!
Miles Lacrofsky here again with Tariq and Sam. What do you think the limitations were?
Well, some of the limitations of our project is that the data was only from 1 year from both of the tests.
And Sam, what do you think the significance of this was?
After 1 year, the data might have been different because our sample size was so small.
Yep. And we're done.
I think they are one person.
All right, we're about to walk.
We are one person.
Yeah, I got it. Well, that's very important, Chief.
Bro, you're heavy, bro!
Why did you guys choose football?
Hi, my name is Jeff.
Yeah, of course they're not going to be paid the same thing. Why would a veteran who's been playing with the team for a long time get paid as much as someone that's okay, we're done.